It's a beautiful day for baseball, and live from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox in the first game of the 2015 exhibition season. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. Hard to believe it's the 7th year here at Camelback Ranch. Dodgers, of course, ended last season on a bitter note in St. Louis. 147 days later, under new management and a whole new feel here.
Under new management and a lot of, I think, acquisitions, no question about that. For Don Mattingly, talking about also the acquisition and maybe some attitudes that have played already. Not a ball has been thrown, not a ball has been hit so far, but Mattingly has been most impressed by his new faces, and we'll see some of those faces in today's ball game, the first of many, but this is kind of a trial period for this Dodger ball club. Yasmani Grandal, he will be behind the plate doing the catching. Interesting also, Charlie, we've got Howie Kendrick and Jimmy Rollins, two veterans up the middle. Interesting from a standpoint is that here guys that bring in credentials, and yet they are open to suggestions from one another.
So it's an exciting time here at Camelback Ranch as the Dodgers get ready for their first exhibition game against the White Sox. Eric Bedard, looking to hook on with the Dodgers, will make the start today. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, lineups and first pitch of the first exhibition game of the 2015 season. It's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, it's the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago White Sox in the first of 31 exhibition games. The Dodgers playing off Broadway until April the 6th when they entertain the San Diego Padres at Dodger Stadium. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. And it's just a spectacular day, 66 degrees. We had a lot of rain here the past couple of days. The bad weather has moved out. By the weekend, the temperatures are going to be in the 80s. The Dodgers have already taken the field. And Eric Bedard, the 36-year-old Canadian left-hander, is singing for his supper today. Mo, he's trying to hook on with the Dodgers. Of course, the first 5 members of the starting rotation are essentially locked in. There's open competition for those who might be 6, 7, 8, or 9 in the rotation, and how important that is over the course of a year.
Yeah, and Bedard, 4 and 6 last year with the Tampa Bay Rays, 17 games, but he's a guy that doesn't throw exceptionally hard, but he's a guy that could figure into this rotation in particular if we have any injuries.
And so here we go, the first pitch of the first exhibition game of the season. Adam Eaton, the one-time Arizona Diamondback, takes a call strike, and it's 0-1. It'll be Eaton and Melky Cabrera, the new White Soxer, and Jose Abreu playing at first base, batting third. The lefty Bedard into the windup. The leg kick. The pitch is a swing and a miss. And the count is quickly 0-2. Adam LaRoche is going to be the DH today in the cleanup spot. Avisail Garcia in right field, his fifth. Alexi Ramirez, the slender shortstop, is batting sixth. Gordon Beckham back with the White Sox, starting at third base. He'll be followed by Tyler Flowers, the catcher. Carlos Sanchez, the second baseman. The 0-2 pitch is on the way. A chopper to first base. A nice easy hop for Adrian Gonzalez. Underhanded flip to Bedard at first, and we are underway as Eaton grounds out.
Yeah, well, the coaching staff is already happy because Bedard got off the mound in a hurry, although they had plenty of time, because Eaton, when he actually went swinging at that ball, stumbled at home plate. He wound up just 20 feet away from the bag to begin with.
It was a big high chopper and an easy play for Adrian Gonzalez. The PFP's paying off early. Here's Melky Cabrera. Cabrera, switch hitting left fielder, coming over as a free agent in the offseason, and he is certainly going to fortify this lineup. And he'll be hitting in front of Abreu all year. At least that's the plan of Robin Ventura. And Bedard delivers a strike, and it's 0-1. Defensively for the Dodgers is Juan Uribe, about 10 feet off the line at third, even with the bag. Jimmy Rollins shaded toward second at short. Howie Kendrick at second base, and Gonzalez is at first. And a fly ball straight away left field. Drifting on back, and to his left is Carl Crawford to make the catch. Quickly 2 out and nobody out.
Two guys really watching, and you look at the defense of the Dodger ball club. Look up the middle. With Rollins at shortstop and also with Kendrick at second base. Those are the guys who you really kind of key on. How do they move? Are they moving on foul balls, off to the right, off to the left? Interesting matchup, and here's two veterans, and the first time that they had played together.
And here's Jose Abreu, the big burly right-handed hitter from Cuba. And Bedard's first pitch is low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Abreu finished the top 5 in the American League in hitting at .317, third with 36 home runs and 107 RBIs. He ranked 4th in the American League last year in that category. Had a big swing and a miss, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Each of the first 2 pitches, watching Grandal behind the plate, has been sitting outside, and inside is not an area that you want to go to Abreu. He occasionally has a ball thrown by him, but he can hit it a long way in.
Here's the 1-1 ground ball to third on the second hop. An easy play for Uribe. Fires across the diamond. The inning is over. A good, efficient inning for Eric Bedard. Nothing across for the White Sox. It'll be Jimmy Rollins, Carl Crawford, and Adrian Gonzalez to bat in the bottom of the first against Jose Quintana.
It's a
Jose Quintana, left-hander, making the start for the White Sox this afternoon. And last year, in 32 starts, a record of 9-11, but an ERA of just 3.32. He was tied for 4th in no decisions last year. Pitched well. Actually better than that 9-11 record would indicate. He'll be facing Jimmy Rollins, Carl Crawford, and Adrian Gonzalez. And so here is the 36-year-old veteran shortstop. All of his years, of course, with the Phillies, comes over to the Dodgers. And he couldn't be happier being here, and he's already been anointed as the Dodgers leadoff hitter this year. So here comes the first pitch from Quintana, and it's a strike on the outside corner, 0-1. Quintana, left-hander. And so it'll be Rollins, Crawford, and Gonzalez. And Howie Kendrick in the cleanup spot today. Grandal, the catcher. Ethier, Uribe, Peterson, and Heisey. No balls and 2 strikes to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins knows he's pretty much at the end of the line. After all, he is 36 and had a great career in Philadelphia, all-time hit leader there. But he is perfectly at home here in with the Dodgers. Looking forward to playing in Los Angeles. He is a West Coast guy, grew up in Northern California. The 0-2 is a foul back off the screen.
Anytime you look at a veteran player, whether it be Jimmy Rollins or someone else, Rollins comes in also with the tag is that he is a competitive guy internally. He wants to win. So all of the years he's already spent at the major league level, I mentioned in the pregame open, he's open to suggestions.
No balls and 2 strikes. Rollins takes inside and low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. He's a switch hitter.
Interesting, too, when you talk about, well, he's open to suggestions. Well, his ability and the thought process has gotten him to this point in his career. And open to suggestions. Don Mattingly knows it as well. You know who to listen to and who to nod to and then forget what they just said. But there are those that you hear what they say and you pay attention.
MVP in 2007, Rollins takes high and outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. A 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner. And in 2007, when he won the MVP and the Gold Glove, he was a Silver Slugger Award winner as well. Jimmy with a ground ball to third, 2 steps to his left. Third baseman Gordon Beckham picks it up. It was well struck by Rollins. He grounds out, first out of the bottom of the first.
This is the place to be. It's not the warmest of days. It was very cool, chilly, if you will, again this morning. I understand game time temperature is just a little bit below 70 degrees. However, you want to be here versus in Chicago, where they just made the announcement it's 21 degrees and cloudy.
Well, it's been a horrible winter about the eastern 2/3 of the country, and today it's just a beautiful day. Here's Crawford, who takes a strike. It's 0-1. So Carl Crawford, this is the first offseason he has had in years where he didn't have to rehabilitate anything. And so he's come into the season in great shape. Left-handed hitter, checks his swing and fouls it off to the left, and it's 0-2. And Don Mattingly was pointing out about Crawford, of course, has had a history of injuries. That last year the injury was a freakish sprained ankle fielding a ball in left field at Dodger Stadium. But the calves are fine, the quads are fine, the hammies are fine, the back is fine, and 0-2, a swing and a foul toward the Dodger dugout. And the count holds at 0-2. And so much has been made about Kemp being gone and Jock Peterson certainly given the chance to start in center field. Lost under the radar is Carl Crawford.
Yeah, and the season he had. And I think underrated as an outfielder because he was healthy last year with his legs. He could go get the ball.
The 0-2 is a chopper foul up the first base line past Davey Lopez.
I had a thought a second ago. You talk about when his legs were healthy. But Carl Crawford right now can tell you his bat's not healthy at this point. I mean, here it is. Occasionally hitting the cage and what have you. And the reason I say that is he's been late on 3 swings and he has been thoroughly jammed. And this is the catch-as-catch can for hitters early in the spring, trying to get your timing.
0-2, the lefty Quintana to the left-handed hitting Crawford. Swings and pops it off on the left field side. In foul territory, third baseman Gordon Beckham makes the catch. Crawford fouls out. There's 2 out.
And it is frustrating because the muscle memory of a player as a hitter. You go back to when you were last competitive. Well, that was in October, St. Louis, when it finally ended. Dodgers had the 2-0 lead, and then the home run, 3-run shot late in the ball game. Dodgers lost at 3-2. But muscle memory gets frustrating here because you know what you're trying to do. You're just a beat or 2 behind as far as the swing, getting the bat to the ball.
Well, they've got a month to get it right. 2 out and nobody on, and here's Adrian Gonzalez coming off a great year. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Adrian, the veteran, led the league in RBIs last year. You know, since 2007, Adrian Gonzalez is second in the major leagues in runs batted in. Only Miguel Cabrera has more. Since 2007, Gonzalez has knocked in 860 runs. Cabrera, 965. So Adrian's number 2 in the major leagues since 2007 in runs batted in. The 0-2, swing and a miss, and he goes down on strikes. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left after 1 inning of play. Baseball is back. We're at Camelback Ranch. The White Sox and Dodgers are scoreless. As we head to the second inning, Dodgers and the White Sox are scoreless, and here is Adam LaRoche leading it off. He's now at the point of his career where we can say he's much traveled. LaRoche, left-hander, the DH. He and Uribe, or rather Abreu, will be sharing first base and DHing back and forth over the course of the year. LaRoche, a solid defender to be sure. 1 ball and 1 strike. LaRoche, Garcia, and Ramirez will bat here in the top half of the second. Bedard needed just 8 pitches, 7 for strikes to retire the White Sox in order in the first inning, and delivers a breaking ball on the inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
A couple of things to be watching in spring training. First of all, pace of game. There is actually a clock that has been placed out in center field, so umpires are watching that in between the innings.
1 ball, 2 strikes. LaRoche, hard ground ball to second base. About 10 feet from the outfield grass. Howie Kendrick picks it up and throws him out. Bit of a shift, 1 out and nobody on.
Yeah, shift is something else we'll talk about, because there's been a lot of ballyhooing about, well, should the shift be allowed or not allowed, which is mysterious to me, and I can't wait to get on that subject. But pace of game is one that we're watching right now. Don Mattingly telling me in the pregame shows, look, there may be a fine here or there, but this is something that baseball is trying to work out. Can the batter leave the box? Has to keep a foot into the box unless there's time called, or a catcher goes to the mound, there's a foul ball, or whatever it is. So pace of game is something else, folks, we're going to be watching and keeping our eyes on.
Avisail Garcia, right-handed batter, takes a breaking ball low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Well, the pace of game, of course, they're trying to, you know, it's interesting. Pace of game and time of game are 2 entirely different things. Now, you remember watching the World Series last year. 1 ball, no strikes. And a fly ball to right field, slicing toward the corner. It's going to be a base hit. It'll roll to the wall. Garcia will arrive at second base. The ball retrieved by Chris Heisey, and the first hit of the spring. Avisail Garcia with a double to right. Talking about, again, pace of game. You dawdle and walk-up music and strolling off the field after a ground out, whatever it is. That just kills time. But think back to the World Series, all that great drama in the 8th and 9th innings, and fans, you see the cutaways on television, the tension and all of that. That's exciting stuff. That's time of game, pace of game. When that stuff is going on, you want to milk each ounce of drama.
Yeah.
But if the Dodgers are playing somebody, a nondescript team in August, and it's 3.5 hours of nothing going on, that's what drives baseball fans and the players themselves crazy. So they're trying to speed that up, and it'll be a work in progress.
Well, when it builds to a crescendo, as it did, as you're referring to, in the postseason, that's one thing. We noticed around the leagues last year that a couple of ballparks do it differently. Kansas City, for example, played the walk-up music one time.
Here's the 1-1 and a looping line drive into center field for a base hit off the bat of Ramirez. Rounding third and coming home to score is Avisail Garcia. Wasn't a hard hit line drive, kind of a looper into center field, dropped in front of Andre Ethier. Garcia comes around to score. Ramirez with the RBI single to center, and the White Sox take a 1-0 lead.
Oh, the ball not hit real hard, a little bit of a jam shot. So what is it that managers and coaches and front office personnel are watching? Well, they're watching to see, was a cutoff man hit? Yes. Were the other people trailing the runners? Yes. All of the different position players took care of their end of the process on that base hit, the run being scored.
Now Gordon Beckham, prodigal son, returning home, takes high and away, 1 ball and no strike.
Difficult thing in spring training. How do you evaluate the outcome of a game? No, don't look at the wins and the losses. How were the games played? Were they played fundamentally sound? Were they played alertly? And for Don Mattingly, knows that, yes, the cutoff man was hit. Second baseman Kendrick came over to first.
And a high pop-up into short left field. Crawford trotting in. Beckham flies to left. That's the second out of the inning, and Ramirez retreats to first.
Kansas City, I mentioned play the walk-up music one time. We noticed that last year when the Dodgers went into Kansas City is that they played the walk-up music one time going up. Well, for those that are watching in the simulcast, if you're watching on the television, time remaining 40 seconds. The PA announcer announces the batter, the final warm-up second, 30 seconds still left on the clock.
Tyler Flowers is the hitter. Right-handed hitting catcher takes high and away, 1 ball and no strikes.
But the Royals in Kansas City, they played the walk-up music the first at bat through the lineup. Consecutive at bats during the game did not have the walk-up music. And the reason I mention that, come after this pitch.
The 1-0, Flowers takes inside, 2-0.
We have seen players that have not left the on-deck circle to help a runner because, A, they want to stay in the on-deck circle to be announced, and 2, they don't want to miss their walk-up music. Well, then walk up twice. Walk up to help the hitter, and then go back and walk up again.
Well, they just want to, there goes the runner. Pitches low and inside, but it's actually called a strike. It bounces off the glove of Grandal, and Ramirez goes to second base. So that'll be a stolen base.
Ramirez was on the run to begin with, not received particularly well by Grandal. Talk with Steve Yeager tomorrow and get his impressions of Grandal and things on his platter. But that's one of the areas, quite frankly, around baseball last year. It's a little disappointed to see the way balls were caught.
The 2-1 is lined into left field. Crawford coming in, makes the catch, and the inning is over. And so Flowers lines to left. The White Sox score a run on 2 hits and leave 1. We go to the bottom of the second. White Sox 1 and the Dodgers nothing. A beautiful day in the Valley of the Sun, and you can still guarantee your seat for opening day. Many plans are still available that include opening day, all 10 bobblehead days and nights, fireworks nights, 4th of July, and a Father's Day barbecue set, and a Tommy Lasorda garden gnome. And many more great promotions you won't want to miss this summer. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans. Leading it off in the bottom half of the second inning, Howie Kendrick, the former Angel, and he takes a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Kendrick, Grandal, and Ethier to bat against Quintana here in the second. 1-0 White Sox. And a fastball up and away. 2 balls and no strikes. Of course, we've watched Kendrick play from the other side of the field over the years in the Freeway Series. Here's the 2-0. And he lines one foul off to the left. 2 balls and 1 strike. He is one of those solid players who just plays every facet of the game well and smart.
And maybe stays under the radar at times for those that do not appreciate the work that he does really on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively.
2 balls and a strike. Kendrick, right-handed hitter, lines one toward the right field corner, and a sliding catch made by Avisail Garcia. So Kendrick robbed of a base hit. Nice play by the sliding Garcia. Made the play about 10-15 feet from the foul line.
The other thing that the Dodgers have acquired of both Kendrick and also, if you're looking at the top with Jimmy Rollins, they can play the thinking game. And in order to use all of your skills, offensively and defensively, you need to be able to think, have a process, including defensive positions to begin with.
Now the switch hitting Yasmani Grandal batting for the right side, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Grandal, of course, the centerpiece in the deal that sent Matt Kemp down to San Diego. He's now 26. Born in Havana, grew up in Miami, in a high chopper to second base. Easy play for Carlos Sanchez. Grandal grounds out. There's 2 out.
Grandal, they want him to be able to relax a little bit. But that sounds at times easier than it is. When you go from one club to another, you're trying to earn your stripes, to earn the spot. And you know that everybody is watching everything that you are doing. So for Grandal, just settle down, play the game, and use your talent.
Andre Ethier steps into the batter's box, and this promises to be a fascinating spring for Ethier, who had just 249, 4 home runs, 42 runs batted in last year. The left-handed swinger grew up here in Arizona, takes a strike, 0-1. Played at Arizona State, made his major league debut against the Diamondbacks at then Chase Field. And the 0-1 is a strike at the knees. Originally it was Bank One ballpark. So he made his major league debut in his hometown against the Diamondbacks. And of course his name has been mentioned often in trade talks. How this is all going to play itself out, we'll find out over the next month or more. He takes a fastball up and away, 1-2.
Andre Ethier said he wants to play every day, and some were taking that as this, well, Ethier is asking for a trade. No, that's not the case. Manager wants all of his players to want to play every day.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Ethier with 2 out. Takes a pitch in the dirt, bounces away from Flowers. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And for Don Mattingly, just made it a comment. He's been asked and was asked again this morning about, well, with the Ethier and the graphics on the TV side. You look at the last 5 seasons, production with Ethier, but for Andre Ethier, opportunity question is going to be not so much with Andre Ethier, but what about Jock Peterson? How does he do?
Here's a 2-2, fouled off to the left and out of play. Peterson not in the lineup today, and you think about it now. Again, we saw Peterson a fair amount in spring. We saw him some in September. And one of the old baseball adages, of course, never judge a young player by what he does in March or September. And so we'll see how that plays itself out as this spring unfolds. Here's the 2-2, swung on and missed, strike 3, ball bobbled by Flowers, picks it up, throws to first. Ethier is retired, and the inning is over. So Quintana has retired all 6 Dodger batters that he has faced. We will go to the 3rd with the White Sox leading 1-0. Eric Bedard's Dodger debut is done. Went 2 innings, 1 run, and 2 hits, 22 pitches, 14 for strikes. New pitcher, Juan Nicasio, who the Dodgers have seen over the years when he was primarily a starter with the Colorado Rockies. The pitching change is brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. There's fresh, and then there's In-N-Out Burger Fresh. Always the highest quality ingredients, always made to order, never compromise at In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger's all about. Why not stop in after the game? So Nicasio last year, 33 appearances, 14 for starts, an ERA of over 5, and you always have to discount ERAs and generally pitching numbers for anybody who pitches up in Colorado. Out of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, and he came over in a trade. The Dodgers sent a minor league outfielder, Noel Cuevas, to Colorado for the hard-throwing right-hander. The Dodgers believe that he's one of those 1 or 2 inning kind of guys who come in and leave it all out on the table in that short period.
Yeah, his family grew coffee down the Dominican Republic, and his slider in on your hands, a left-handed batter, will certainly keep you up. You won't need caffeine.
Carlos Sanchez is the batter, switch hitting second baseman from the left side, and he takes high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. Nicasio 6'4" and 250. A 1-0 is a fastball on the outside corner for a strike, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Nicasio, one time, he was in the mid-90s. He made a comment a couple of years ago in spring training.
And the pitch is down and away, 2-1 to Sanchez.
And it kind of paralleling the fastball that the radar gun says. Nicasio said, nobody can hit my fastball.
Here's a 2-1, fouled off to the left and out of play. 2-2.
Well, Sanchez just did, but he was very tardy to the dance.
So you figure Nicasio is seriously in the mix in the Dodger bullpen, which was really a major disappointment last year. Here comes the 2-2. Swinging a foul off the fist and off to the left and out of play. Dodger bullpen last year, 1-loss record, 18 and 24. And the ERA ranked 12th out of the 15 teams. And of course, Kenley Jansen now on the shelf at least until sometime in May, and they've not even circled a day on the calendar yet for Jansen's return. Now the 2-2. Sanchez takes a breaking ball, call strike 3. So Nicasio strikes out the first batter he faces as a Dodger. It'll bring up Adam Eaton.
Well, he says that nobody can hit the fastball. So he took something off of that one. But Nicasio also, pretty good philosophy. He says, look, I'm going to establish, I want to find out, can hitters get around on my fastball inside on their hands, and then possibly go to something else.
Now Adam Eaton, the one-time Diamondback, takes the strike, and it's 0-1. Left-handed hitter.
Your comment about the bullpen, if we think back to a year ago, remember the Dodgers had, including Jansen, who's here, he's on crutches still, but the Dodgers had 4 closers.
Ground ball up the middle, backhanded stop by Kendrick, who slowly hits it. By the time he got to the ball, he had no chance to get the speedy Eaton. No throw from Kendrick. An infield hit for Adam Eaton. 1 out, 1 on in the third.
Yeah, it was good of Kendrick to even get to the ball because he was playing to pull to begin with. Back to that comment about the closers. Okay, they had 4 guys that had been closers at the big league level. 4. You figure, oh my goodness, the supply is everlasting. Well, there's they got about 1.5 guys that did the job. Well, the other part is not. 2 of them are gone, and they really did nothing. So there's a big burden also on shoulders of somebody to fill in for Kenley Jansen.
Melky Cabrera lines one right into the glove of shortstop Jimmy Rollins. Throw to first, not in time. So Cabrera lines to Rollins. Eaton, who runs well, wasn't that far off the bag, so it was difficult for Rollins to double him off. There's 2 out. And the bullpen was just really down the stretch dreadful. Who do you go to? Oh, we don't know. And that was a major problem, especially down the stretch and into the postseason for Don Mattingly and his crew. And so they had to gut it, and they did. Now here's Abreu.
Too many times got caught in a catch-22.
Abreu bounced to third in his first at bat. And Nicasio, quick throw to first. And Eaton, who's got good speed, is back with a head first.
You really had to go with it with the bullpen last year for way too many games. Who's healthy? What's been the workload of recent days for this guy and for that guy? Who's available?
Abreu takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1.
But once you got the arms and the arm strength kind of figured out, I said, okay, who's on a roll and who's not? And there were too many guys who were on that who's not list.
And it's not good when you're second in the league in walks and 12th in the league in ERA. Eaton goes a swing and a foul off to the left and out of play. And so there was there was no bridge from about the 6th inning to Jansen. And we talked about it often. It was that Indiana Jones rickety bridge to the other side, and more times than not down the stretch they fell overboard. So it's being refurbished. Jobs are available. Nicasio certainly is in. Dustin McGowan, the former Blue Jay, is here. J.P. Howell struggled in September, but he was solid for 6 of the 7 months. LaRoche is on deck, a pitch out. And runner not gone. Abreu lays off. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's 1-0 White Sox. We're in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, not a good pitch out either by Nicasio. It is remarkable that this young man is actually not only pitching, that he's alive. Remember back 2011? Ian Desmond with the Nationals hit a line drive, hit him in the neck. Suffered a broken neck.
Now the 1-2. Nicasio, the right-hander, delivers a swing and a foul back and out of play.
So how was your day? Well, required surgery just a few hours after the incident. But not only did the surgery go well, back at Major League Baseball, remarkable at the time, extremely scary.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Abreu, American League Rookie of the Year. Nicasio, the second Dodger pitcher of the day, out of the stretch, set at the belt. Here's the pitch. Ground ball, right side, into right field for a base hit. Eaton will go to third. Wasn't hit terribly hard, in off the fist. And so now runners are at the corners with 2 out. It'll bring up Adam LaRoche.
Adam Eaton very aggressive. The runner went over to third base. Chris Heisey made the mistake of coming in. Didn't field the ball particularly well. Compounded really the effort, and something the coaching staff talked about. You never want to pick the ball up off the ground once you've dropped it with the glove. Don't want to pick it up that way. Go down with the bare hand or both hands. Well, Heisey went down with the glove. Fortunately, he was able to pick it up. But then he did not throw the ball as he hesitated one more instant. I think Eaton may have even tried to score. But once you drop the ball, go down with the bare hand, not with just the glove.
Heisey generally regarded as a 4th outfielder. Solid, not spectacular. Came from Cincinnati. And here's Adam LaRoche. Takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Nicasio, the second Dodger pitcher of the day. We're also going to see Carlos Frias, the only returning Dodger who's going to be pitching today. Sergio Santos, former 1st-round pick of the Diamondbacks. Last 3 years in Toronto. Adam Libator, ex of the Rays, going to pitch today. Josh Raven, local kid from Chatsworth High School, in his 2nd season in the Dodger organization. So the Dodgers will have a lot of newcomers on the hill, and they're going to be singing for their Major League summer. LaRoche, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's going to be a lot of singing.
Just don't call me late for dinner. Here's the 1-1. LaRoche fouls it off to the left, and it's 1-2.
Well, the White Sox are batting, so you figure, well, they probably have more guys in their dugout. No, not the case.
Well, of course, the White Sox and the Dodgers share this Camelback.
Well, the White Sox, in comparative terms,
their dugout is empty. The Dodgers, it's standing room only, literally.
1 ball and 2 strikes to the left-handed hitting LaRoche. Runners are at the corners. A swing and a foul off to the left and out of play.
So look at the Dodger dugouts. A lot of arms are draped over. I mean, literally, if you're sitting on the bench, if you're sitting down in the Dodgers third base dugout, you cannot see the field. That's how many guys are up on that railing. And we're going to see most of them playing.
It's like a subway at rush hour.
You know, a portion of the game we go into, 7th, 8th, and 9th, the witness protection program, where only immediate family can probably recognize some of the players.
Can hardly wait. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 on, 2 out, 1-0 White Sox, top of the 3rd. Nicasio deals, and LaRoche takes high and away. That is 2 balls and 2 strikes.
LaRoche, a good pickup. Can add the potential of the bat. Question is going to be, is it how much will he be platooned?
Well, of course, the DH over in the American League, so he and Abreu will divide time with the glove. And there's a fly ball to center field. Racing on back, and it's off the glove of Andre Ethier. Looked like he was poised to make a spectacular catch, but instead, in to score is Eaton. Behind him is Abreu. LaRoche with a double, and the White Sox have a 3-0 lead.
Well, it's going to go as a double, a couple of RBIs. The wind is blowing out today. Not a tremendous wind, but kind of an inside-out swing. Ethier turned to his left, and he kept going back and back. And looking up into the sky here, it's not the easiest area to be able to see the ball off the glove. And most guys will tell you, well, if it went off the glove somewhere, I felt I should have had it. Would have been a tough play, no question about it. That's the background you see if you're watching on the television end of it. But that wind just continued to keep the ball up into the air.
And if you're watching on the radio end of it, you really have a...
Well, you might, and if you're in your car, you might want to watch the traffic in front of you. But there is a little breeze, less than maybe about 10 miles an hour blowing out towards left center.
But directly overhead, a high cloudless sky. So you had the wind and the sky to deal with, and Ethier unable to make the play. Garcia takes a ball inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes. So he was battling the elements, and the elements won.
I saw a replay a moment ago, and I think he actually went up to the glove a little bit late with the glove.
The 1-0, and it's inside. 2 balls, no strikes to Avisail Garcia. Roach at second base.
One of the things very quickly about outfield, the infield too. For anyone that has ever tried to play the game or do anything else, even jogging, when you're looking straight ahead, does everything bounce on you? I have a feeling that was the way with Ethier, maybe bouncing on him, running in his heels a little bit too much.
Now Garcia swings and misses. That is 2 balls and a strike.
And the only reason I say that is it been caught there before. We talked about hitters earlier on, about trying to get the timing. It's the same way defensively, in particular going back. Oh, you've taken a few hundred fly balls already in the outfield, all of them. But now it's coming live off the bat in the stadium.
The 2-1 is a call strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Garcia. Mattingly telling the assembled media this morning that Ethier will be playing all 3 outfield positions. He will see a lot of time out on the field this spring. Mattingly, now 53 years of age. It is 4th year, actually his 5th year with the Dodgers. In 2011, Mattingly, his club finished 82-80. 2012, they were 4 games better. 2013, 92-70. And last year, 94-68. So he has improved every single year. And the Dodgers have under his tutelage. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a foul tip and off the glove of Yasmani Grandal. Garcia doubled the right, scored a run in his first at-bat. So Donnie Baseball, the Dodgers have simply gotten better with each passing year.
He was very candid also on the pregame show today, telling me, and I asked him about, okay, you learn a lot about your players during the season, but you even learn a little bit more about postseason play, really under pressure. He goes, yes, you learn about your players, you learn about yourself.
And that's a line drive base hit into left center field. In to score easily is LaRoche. Garcia is on his way to second base with a sliding double. It is the 3rd run of the 3rd inning. And the White Sox have a 4-0 lead.
And Garcia with back-to-back doubles, and each of them have been hit hard.
So Nicasio strikes out the first batter he faces. And Eaton an infield hit. Cabrera lines out. Now Rick Honeycutt's out. Try to chat with Nicasio a bit. Abreu a single to right. LaRoche a double. Garcia a double. And now the conference on the hill. So Rick Honeycutt is going to have a very interesting spring, trying to assess what he has, the pieces he has to work with in the bullpen.
And who's going to stand tall, because now there's another job that is going to be open in that bullpen to supplant Kenley Jansen. This is spring training, but here's a veteran, Rick Honeycutt, who was a standout pitcher in his own right. Dodgers had acquired him from the Texas Rangers, and he came over, really fit in well with the ball club. But this is a trip to say, well, wait a minute, first game and you're going to take a trip to the mound? Yes, because if you look at it, this is the 7th batter that Nicasio has faced here in the inning. If the ball was caught in center field, would have been a tough catch, no question about it. He'd be out. So you give the guy a breather, a chance to recharge the memory bank, too.
Here's Alexi Ramirez's single to center in his first at-bat. Takes low and inside, 1 ball, no strikes. And the other thing is, Honeycutt is getting to know these new fellas. What makes them tick? How do they handle adversity? What kind of pitches can they throw in given situations? It's a learning process for the pitching coaches as much as it is for the pitchers. Here's the 1-0. There's a strike on the outside corner, 1-1. So if there are question marks about these Dodgers coming into the 2015 season, by and large, it's the bullpen. Last year, there was a thought that perhaps the bullpen would in fact be a strength because of the veteran nature of it. Uribe throws out Ramirez on a slow roller to third to end the inning. But this year, it's a whole new breed in that bullpen as Honeycutt will get adjusted with them. Uribe, Peterson, and Heise will bat for the Dodgers in the third. It is 4-0 Chicago after 2.5. Brad Penny, the one-time Dodger, now on in relief for the White Sox after 2 perfect innings thrown by Jose Quintana. Juan Uribe, Jock Peterson, and Chris Heise will bat for the Dodgers as we go to the bottom of the third. A 4-0 White Sox lead, and Penny's first pitch way outside. 1 ball, no strikes. The pitching change brought to you by In-N-Out Burger. No freezers, no microwaves, no heat lamps ever. At In-N-Out Burger, when it comes to burgers, fries, and shakes, always fresh is the only way. Why not stop in after the game? And a ground ball to second base. High hop fielded on the outfield grass by Carlos Sanchez. Rebate grounds to second, first out of the third.
For big Brad Penny, where is he going to be? Last year made a few different stops. Was with the Marlins for 8 games. He was also pitching Pacific Coast League for 5. He was in the Florida State League in Jupiter for 2 games.
And so Penny, major league record of 121 wins and 101 losses. And a lifetime ERA of about 4 1/3. And a call strike to Jock Peterson. No balls and 1 strike. So Peterson, the DH today. Takes low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Your thoughts on Jock Peterson coming into this season, coming off his MVP year at AAA last year?
He can run and get the ball. Question is going to be, can he repeat the swing?
There's a breaking ball for strike 1 and 2 to Peterson.
And some will say that's unfair to say, well, can he repeat the swing? Well, younger players also, they have the memory bank that has to build up. Understand pitchers. How's one team going to pitch to you? Do they pitch differently against you than somebody else?
Left-handed hitter, the 1-2, hard ground ball, base hit into right field. So Jock Peterson, the first Dodger base runner, got around on Brad Penny and a clean single to right.
Hey, Charlie, getting back to Peterson, the one thing that I noticed last year is that he needs to be more effective against left-handed pitching. Hasn't seen it that often, even in the Pacific Coast League. He'll have that well. They tried to come inside, and the ball was up. And that's a ball that last year when Peterson came up, he had a tendency to pull off of. Well, he stayed on this one enough. Does he handle the curveball, the off-speed pitch? I think those are the 2 questions, and you have that question about every young player that comes up.
Now here's Chris Heisey, former Cincinnati Red. Good size lead for Peterson. Heisey checks his swing. It's a call strike, and it's 0-1.
There's no line about a young player that signed and goes out and he plays, and his mom gets a postcard. Dear Mom, having a wonderful time chasing my dream. And then she doesn't hear from him for a while, then finally gets not only a postcard, a long letter. And in that letter says, Dear Mom, get my room ready. I'll come home soon. They're beginning to throw the curveball.
Quick toss to first base. Peterson had good speed, back standing up.
But for Peterson, he has all of the equipment to drive the big tractor right at the major league level and drive it well. You mentioned the speed on top of it. There's no question he can run and get it in the outfield. Consistency at home.
The 0-1 to Heisey, swinging a foul back and out of play. And there's no balls and 2 strikes. Heisey from Pennsylvania, 17th round pick of the Reds back in 2006. Broke into the big leagues in 2010 and came over from Cincinnati in the trade that sent Southern Californian Matt McGill on to Cincinnati. And talking about Heisey, swings and fouls it back and out of play. He's a steady as she goes kind of a player. Not spectacular, but does all the little things pretty well. Very good pinch hitter over the course of his career. In fact, since 2010, with a minimum of 90 plate appearances, he leads all major league pinch hitters. In slugging percentage, RBIs, 283 coming off the bench as a pinch hitter. Takes a breaking ball, called strike 3, and down on strikes. So Heisey has been struck out. Third Dodger struck out today. Second out of the 3rd, and here comes Jimmy Rollins.
Flowers, just a very wide setup to begin with on the outside corner. And perfect placement by Penny.
Rollins, switch hitter, batted from the right side in his first at-bat against the lefty Quintana and bounced to 3rd. Now a left-handed hitter lines up base hit into center field. And Peterson is on his way to 3rd base, and he makes it. Well, generally speaking, you don't want to go from 1st to 3rd with 2 out. The old baseball adage is you don't want to make the 1st out or the 3rd out at 3rd base. Peterson did manage to meet the throw of Adam Eaton. The Dodgers have runners at the corners now with 2 gone.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, people tried to go inside to Jimmy Rollins. Said, well, he can't hit the ball in on his hands from the left side. Well, if you look at the White Sox defense, they were playing very much the pull. Well, Rollins handles it well. I also like the fact that Jock Peterson went ahead and did push the envelope a little bit. Here in game 1, go ahead and be aggressive. If you're going to make a mistake, make it by omission. And not do something that's make that commission rather than omission.
Runners at the corners, 2 out. Carl Crawford lines a base hit into right field. In to score is Peterson. Rollins holds at second. The Dodgers are on the board. RBI single to right for Crawford. It's the White Sox 4 and the Dodgers 1. So 3 well-hit singles for the Dodgers here in the third.
Ball left up and out over the plate. Crawford jumped all over. We talked about this last year, and I think at length about Carl Crawford. I think his speed surprises a lot of people. You know, you read, oh, it's fast. But I think the thing that is really shocking me around it, how big Carl Crawford is. He is a big, big man.
6'2" and 230. And can run about as well as anybody. Now the left-handed hitting Adrian Gonzalez with runners at first and second, 2 out, a run in bottom of the third. A 4-1 White Sox lead, takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Struck out swinging in his first at bat. And he out of the stretch, and Gonzalez takes a strike. 1-1. Adrian, another solid year for the Dodgers. 116 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Outside and low. And it's 2-1. Adrian, a 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove winner, including last year. Also won the Silver Slugger Award as the best hitting first baseman. That's his second Silver Slugger Award. Adrian now 32 in his 10th big league season. And the 2-1 with runners at first and second. Gonzalez, hard ground ball to second base, but scooped up by Carlos Sanchez. He'll throw out Gonzalez to end the inning, but the Dodgers come up with a run and 3 hits and leave 2. We'll go to the 4th with the White Sox on top 4-1. Carlos Frias now on in relief for the Dodgers. He becomes the 3rd Dodger pitcher of the afternoon. Frias up with the Dodgers for a bit last year. Spot starter, a couple of starts, 15 appearances altogether. A record of 1-1, a 6.12 ERA. Frias, long, lanky right-hander, 6'4", 195. Out of the Dominican Republic. Beckham, Flowers, and Sanchez will bat.
For Frias, he was on the wrong end of a major league start. Remember back on September 17th last year.
The 0-1, a foul back and out of play, nothing in 2 is something that he would like to forget.
Well, and the young man, I mean, he stood tall. It was one of those command performances. It was a situation we talked earlier about. Well, arms, are they available out of the bullpen or not? In the game that he started in Denver,
there's a ball outside, 1-2.
that was not the situation. But Frias became the first pitcher in the modern era to yield 10 hits, logging fewer than 3 outs. Pulled in the first inning, charged with 8 runs.
It was not a pretty performance. Beckham fouls it off to the right and out of play. The count is 1-2.
But while he was taking really pillar to post, he gained a lot of respect from his teammates because he did not bail out. He didn't look for excuses. And he's just a delightful young man when you talk to him. And he has an inner strength. How do you judge players? Well, you look at ability. That's all well and good. You can see that. You can read their number and their name on the back. You can read the name of the team on the front. What about their inner strength?
The 1-2 is foul back and out of play.
Yeah, we learned a lot about Carlos Frias that day, September in Denver. It hurt. There's no question about it. But internally, he's a tough hombre.
The first inning that would never end. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Fastball up and in. Beckham is late to the dance. First out of the 4th, and we'll pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Dodgers Radio Network. Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. From Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona, the White Sox with a 4-1 lead. We're in the top half of the 4th. 1 ball, no strikes now to the catcher, Tyler Flowers. Carlos Sanchez on deck. Eric Bedard, 2 innings, a run and 2 hits, 22 pitches. Flowers fouls it off. Ocasio, 1 inning, 3 runs and 4 hits, and now here is Frias. Dodgers and White Sox have at it again tomorrow. Of course, they share this wonderful facility. And mentioned in the open, it's hard to believe it's now 7 years that the Dodgers are playing here in Glendale after all those years in Vero Beach. Flowers on 2-1. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, tomorrow we'll see Clayton Kershaw. His first outing of the spring. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out. Here's a pitch from Frias. Low one outside. 3-2.
Pretty good chance Kershaw can make the club.
Nothing like going out on the limb.
Well, here's a question upon it. If you have early in your career, as Clayton Kershaw has accomplished so many things, that's when you also learn about people and how tough Clayton Kershaw is internally. Talked about Frias.
Here's the 3-2. Low one outside, ball 4. So Flowers takes a walk with 1 out.
Because Clayton Kershaw is never really satisfied.
Oh, he was throwing BP the other day, and Uribe hit a home run off Kershaw. And he was torqued for the rest of the afternoon. He said, I'll never hear the end of it from Juan Uribe. May be right about that. Now here's Sanchez, switch hitter, batting from the left side. He swings and fouls it off to the left, and it's no balls and 1 strike. Adam Eaton is on deck. There wasn't a better player in Major League Baseball last year than Clayton Kershaw. There was nothing he didn't do well. Hitting, running, and, oh, by the way, pitching. There's a strike on the inside corner. No balls and 2 strikes. Kershaw in pretty good company, winning the MVP and the Cy Young Award in the same year. Last one to do that was Justin Verlander. Then you have to go back to '92 and Dennis Eckersley. As Sanchez swings and misses on a pitch in the dirt, and he's down on strikes.
Pretty good list of pitchers that have been able to do that. I witnessed Vida Blues year they did it, 1971, with the Oakland A's.
Stuck inside of Oakland with them Vida Blues again. Adam Eaton is the batter. He singled and scored a run in 2 at-bats today. 4-1. The White Sox with the lead. First exhibition game of the season.
How big of a game in spring are we looking at with the White Sox, quite frankly, talking about Robert Ventura's ball club, because they have had a dismal last couple of seasons combined. They've lost 188 games the last 2 years. They spent a lot of money in free agency.
Line drive base hit over a leaping Jimmy Rollins into left field. Crawford quickly retrieves. Flowers holds at second. Eaton is at first base. He's 2 for 3. With 2 out, Melky Cabrera coming up. And as you mentioned, White Sox went out and bought themselves some top quality players, Melky Cabrera being one of them.
Yeah, Cabrera comes over, Zach Duke, Dave Robertson, LaRoche.
Now they've got a real closer in Robertson. Their bullpen was a big.
And then they got Jeff Schmarsden that comes over, but they spent close to about $140 million committed on free agents.
The American League Central from top to bottom is fascinating. As Frias misses high and away, 1 ball, no strikes to the switch hitting Cabrera. You've got the Tigers who can hit with the best of them. Of course, Victor Martinez on the shelf for the time being. You've got Yoenis Cespedes to join Cabrera, so the middle of that lineup is potent. Now the question is Verlander healthy again? Price will have his first full year in Detroit. The Indians are fascinating. White Sox are in the race. And oh, by the way, the Kansas City Royals were in the World Series. And the Twins seem to be making some strides. But you've got 4 really good teams in that Central Division.
And the White Sox trying to turn their road into a little happier and less bumpy ride than what Robert Ventura has seen the last couple of seasons. So it's been very busy for the new general manager, Rick Hahn.
Of course, Kenny Williams, the president of the club, and Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Melky Cabrera, who swings and misses. And that will end the inning. Hard slider down and in. He strikes out the side. Does Frias. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left after 3.5. White Sox 4-1. nothing more enjoyable and relaxing than watching a spring training game here at Camelback Ranch in Glendale. Dodger Stadium is the perfect place to bring your special group. Whether it's a company outing, celebrating a birthday, or raising money for a cause, do it at Dodger Stadium, and you'll receive great savings, experience special benefits, and share Dodger memories together. Group tickets start as low as $10. Visit Dodgers.com/groups.
See, the offseason didn't bother you. That was a very smooth transition.
I had plenty of time to work on it. New catcher for the White Sox is Rob Brantley, as Brad Penny begins his second inning of relief and misses outside in a low 1-1 strike. It'll be Howie Kendrick, Yasmani Grandal, and Andre Ethier. White Sox made a couple of other defensive changes, which we'll get to in a moment. The 1-1 from Penny, and Kendrick takes high and outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. New left fielder for the White Sox, man tentatively identified as Courtney Hawkins. And Emilio Bonifacio is the new center fielder. And the 2-1, foul off to the left and out of play, and the count is 2-2. Pending notification of Nets again. Oh dear. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Grandal on deck. Penny is second inning of relief, and the 2-2 is a breaking ball, call strike 3. So Kendrick caught hooking. And that's the first out of the 4th inning, and the second strikeout for Brad Penny in his second inning of relief.
I mentioned earlier about the multitude of uniformed personnel in the Dodgers' third base dugout. And they ain't leaving so far.
No good seats available. Here's Grandal, the switch hitter, batting from the left side this time, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Batting against Quintana in his first at-bat. Grandal bounced to second base. Left-handed hitter takes up and in, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So here's Brad Penny, the 1-1. Grandal fouls it off to the left and out of play, and it's 1-2. With the Dodgers, Penny made 115 starts and had an ERA of just over 4. Since leaving the Dodgers, he's had 74 big league starts and an ERA of over 5. Here's the 1-2, high and away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Of course, he came up with the Marlins. He and Josh Beckett were together there in the early goings. And the 2-2, Grandal takes a call, strike 3. Oh, Penny. Strikes out the first 2 batters he faces here.
There's 2 different type of players that are really giving it everything that they have earlier on in spring training. And Brad Penny will fall into one of those groups, and that's the veteran trying to extend the career. Obviously, the youngster who has never left his footprint in the sand, so to speak, at the major league level. I mean, they're full of vim and vigor and trying to impress somebody. And for Brad Penny, he has been impressive so far.
Andre Ethier swings and misses, and it's 0-1. Ethier, a strikeout victim in his first at-bat.
What Penny has done is he kind of changed around what he did in that 3rd inning. He had some balls up in the strike zone, gave up a run on 3 hits in the 1st inning, but strikes out the first man here in the Dodgers half of the 4th.
The 0-1, and Ethier takes a breaking ball for a strike, 0-2, and he's shown a good assortment of pitches in this.
Yeah, started a breaking ball away, backdoor breaking ball, if you will. Have a tendency left-handed batter give up on it. Comes back, catches the corner.
Ethier on 0-2. Swings and foul tips it into the dirt. Stays alive. Home plate umpire is Adrian Johnson. So he raised his hands quickly to let everybody know it's fouled into the dirt. Brian Knight, the first base umpire. Dan Bellino at second. Trip Gibson is the third base umpire. Gibson has been promoted to being a full-time major league umpire. He's been up and down the past few years. A great umpire. Tim McClellan retired over the winter. And that opened an opportunity for Gibson, the third base umpire. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Ethier. Uribe on deck. A 4-1 White Sox lead. They've out-hit the Dodgers 7-3. Brad Penny, the second White Sox pitcher of the day, the one-time Dodger deals, and Ethier swings and misses. Dropped by Brantley, picks it up, throws Ethier out, and Penny strikes out the side. Penny has struck out 4 in his 2 innings of work. We'll go to the 5th. White Sox 4-1. Carl Crawford's day is done, and so he's doing some wind sprints out in left field. Dodgers have made a bunch of changes, and we go to the 5th inning. As Monty Grandal's day is done, so is Howie Kendrick and Jimmy Rollins as they head down the left field line, headed toward the Dodger clubhouse. Abreu is the batter for the White Sox here in the 5th. Frias in his 2nd inning of relief for the Dodgers. Abreu swings and misses. 4 runs and 7 hits for Chicago, a run and 3 hits for the Dodgers. Perfect day, about 68 degrees now. An area cloud in the sky as Abreu is laid on a fastball upstairs, swinging and missing. It's 1-2. Adam LaRoche on deck. Avisail Garcia will follow. Bedard gave up 1 run and 2 hits in 2 innings. Nicasio 3 runs and 4 hits in an inning. And here's Frias delivering a hard fastball just down in the way. 1-2. And Frias struck out 2 batters in his 1st inning of relief. Abreu has singled, scored a run, and bounced to 3rd. Now the 2-2 on the way. A little blooper into short center field, coming in, dropping in front of the new center field for the Dodgers, Darnell Sweeney. Sweeney, his first instinct was to take a step back, and that cost him. As Abreu loops a single into center field.
Hesitate for a moment or two, and you kind of messed up a little bit. And for the White Sox, they will also make a change in running at first base. Andy Wilkins will take over.
Andy Wilkins is the pinch runner for Abreu. Any of these guys we're seeing for the first time, just like you are. Adam LaRoche out of the game, and so Dan Black is the hitter. What's great about spring training, when the press box PA introduces the new batter, it's not like Dan Black period or Dan Black with a exclamation point. It's Dan Black with a question mark. So here's Dan Black at double and triple A last year at 263 with 11 home runs. Big burly left-handed batter. The 0-2. Reyes misses inside and low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dodgers have made some defensive changes. We'll begin in the outfield. In left field, the new left fielder is Scott Schebler, who we have seen over the last couple of seasons. Pretty good hitter. Darnell Sweeney, who we just introduced you to, is in center field. Black goes down on strikes. That's the 4th strikeout for Frias. New shortstop is Kiki Hernandez. Came over from the Marlins in the deal involving Heron and Gordon. And Darwin Barney takes over at second base. And Austin Barnes is the new catcher, also part of the deal with the Marlins. Avisail Garcia is now the batter. White Sox with a 4-1 lead. 1 out, 1 on, top half of the 5th. Frias delivers a swing and a foul off to the left and out of play. Andy Wilkins came in. He's at first base, having pinch run for Abreu. Nice leisurely Wednesday afternoon in Glendale. Oh, about 15 miles or so from downtown Phoenix. Garcia takes inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Just a gorgeous day. It was cold and rainy and nasty the past couple of days. And for the folks back in Los Angeles, you certainly could relate, because that was the weather that we got from y'all. Here's the 0-1, and it's outside. 2 balls and a strike. And by the weekend, the temperatures are supposed to be in the 80s. No chance of rain for the next week to 10 days, it tells us. So here's Frias. He's the 3rd Dodger pitcher of the afternoon, missing outside. And the count is 3-1. Garcia has doubled twice today. Double to right, double to center. Scored a run and knocked in 1. Alexi Ramirez, veteran shortstop in the on-deck circle. Frias misses way outside, ball 4. Frias has 2-3 pitches, appears to be a bit out of rhythm.
And carrying the ball a little bit too far, and he just wonders, okay, they're stretching it out, trying to get to the 2nd inning in his work this afternoon. How many pitches do you want your guys to go in the early round? Bedard went 2. Mattingly saying, look, remember, starters the first time out, they probably just go 2 innings. They have to argue with Kershaw to keep it down to 2 tomorrow, but that's what's at least on the chalkboard.
The lanky shortstop Alexi Ramirez takes high and away. 1 ball, no strikes. So Kershaw will get his first 2 innings of work tomorrow. Ramirez listed as 6'2" and 180. Swings and fouls it off to the right. 1 ball, 1 strike, and 1 out.
A lot of new faces really on both sides of the coin. The White Sox have 64 players in camp. 34 of those are pitchers, 6 catchers, 16 infielders, 8 outfielders, and 20 of the 40 players on their 40-man roster are new faces this year. 20.
Ramirez lines one up the gap in left center field. That's going to be a base hit. It's going to roll to the wall. Wilkins will score. Garcia rounding 3rd, and he will score. Arriving at second base is Alexi Ramirez with a 2-run double, and the White Sox take a 6-1 lead.
fourth double for the White Sox this afternoon. He just went downstairs and got that ball. That may not have been a strike.
Tyler Saladino is now pinch running for Alexei Ramirez. And now Gordon Beckham is batting. Right-handed hitter. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, well, the White Sox have 20 new faces on their 40-man roster. The Dodgers, we talked to the pregame show about, well, there's been a turnover of personnel uniform. 19 of the 40 are new faces.
Half, practically. Ground ball to second base. Darwin Barney will throw out Beckham. There's 2 out, and advancing to third is Saladino. It's Chevy Truck Month, where you can get great offers on the Silverado and the all-new Chevy Colorado. 2015 Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Chevy Trucks. High-strength steel for high-strength dependability. Only at your SoCal Chevy dealer. So Beckham bounces out to second base. Saladino goes to third. And Rob Brantley, his first at-bat, taking over behind the plate for Tyler Flowers, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Practically half of the Dodger 40-man roster is brand new. And a lot of fans wonder, gee, playoffs last year, 94 wins, that kind of turnover. One ball and one strike. Brantley, left-handed batter, takes inside. 2 balls and a strike. The Dodgers have reworked the infield. Of course, Kendrick and Rollins up the middle. Grandal and Ellis will share time behind the plate. The 2-1, a grounder foul off to the right and out of play. Dodgers, at least on paper and certainly based on their careers, have fortified their defense right up the middle. So run prevention is something that the Dodgers have really been focusing on. Dodgers finished 14th last year in team defense.
And those were balls that they got to.
Yeah.
Here's the other part of it. And they did not get a whole lot of defensive coverage at shortstop.
They didn't get in.
Hanley Ramirez is not going to play shortstop now in Boston.
Brantley swings and misses. He's been struck out that end. We'll pick up that thought as we go to the bottom half of the 5th, with the White Sox leading 6-1. A beautiful Wednesday matinee day. Camelback Ranch in Glendale, the first exhibition game of 31 for the Dodgers as they get ready for the season opener at Dodger Stadium on April the 6th. The White Sox with a 6-1 lead. The White Sox have themselves a new pitcher in the lefty, Eric Sirkin. Split last year between AAA and the White Sox. At the big league level, 35 relief appearances and a 4.81 ERA. He's bounced around some. Juan Uribe takes a strike, and it's 0-1. White Sox have made some more defensive changes, and we'll get to them in a moment. Uribe bounced to second base at his first at-bat. Sox with a 6-1 lead. They've got 9 hits, and Uribe grounds one wide of third, and Saladino, the new shortstop, picks it up and throws out Uribe, first out of the 5th inning. Saladino is the new shortstop, and the new third baseman, Davidson, Matt Davidson, and there is a new right fielder. As we continue to shuck and jive here in the first game, and hey, there's J.D. Shaw. There is no jive, however, but there may be some going on here in the booth. 1 out, nobody on. And Jock Peterson, who singled to right and scored a run in his first at-bat, takes a strike and is 0-1. It's the first one. What are you looking at me like that for?
I didn't know better. I think we've been marooned in snowbanks.
Fly ball well hit off the bat of Jock Peterson. One hop to the wall in center, and Jock Peterson is 2 for 2. A single to right and a double to center.
Adjustments. And for Peterson, the first pitch that he took, he was basically back on his heels, his right heel to begin with. Kind of backing out, kind of bailing out. Well, he stayed in on that pitch. Peterson got a breaking ball, and even though he hit it on the end of the bat, it still carried. Yes, there's a little breeze blowing out towards left center field, but it's less than 10 miles an hour. That's hit a long way to not be hit really flush on the bat.
And now here's Chris Heisey, the former Cincinnati Red. Takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Charlie, I mentioned earlier about Jock Peterson, just completing that thought. And every young player that comes up, how does he handle the off-speed pitches? Curveball in particular. The changeup, well, that's a finesse pitch that pitchers have to learn how to throw, and then hitters really have to learn how to adjust to it. But with Peterson, more with that in a second.
Heisey pops it into short left field. Sprinting in is Courtney Hawkins. Battling the sun a bit, makes the catch. Heisey's retired. Peterson returns to second, 2 out.
And for someone that did not have a high leg kick, myself, in hitting, I don't know how some hitters make the adjustments. And what I'm leading into is that Peterson does have a bit of a leg kick. And it's all well and good, but the first pitch where his weight was back on his heels, that's not conducive to a high leg kick because you lose your balance. So he kept his balance. The second ball is a breaking ball out away from him. And that's something that Jock Peterson's going to have to learn how to repeat over and over. Keep the balance.
Kiki Hernandez is the batter for the Dodgers. Came over from the Marlins. And he can play pretty much 7 of the 9 positions. Except pitcher and catcher. So he's a value utility type of player. He swings and fouls it back off the screen. And the count is 0-2.
Dodgers can use people coming off the bench. Don't think that the bench was as deep initially and at times during the season last year compared to terms of 2013.
Now, speaking of the bench of a couple of years ago, 2 of the class acts that we had a chance to spend some time with. Mark Ellis announced his retirement in the offseason. Hernandez takes a call, strike 3, and it looks like Nick Punto is at least taking this year off. Tip the cap to those five. So Hernandez down on strikes, no runs and a hit. We'll go to the sixth. 6-1 White Sox. Well, you're going to hear this one for the next 7 months. If you'd gotten into your car when the game began, you could have listened to the broadcast and already be at Chumash Casino Resort, located in the beautiful Santa Barbara wine country, 2 hours north of L.A. For more information, visit ChumashCasino.com. Going to hear that about 200 times. New pitcher for the Dodgers, Sergio Santos, veteran right-hander, up in Toronto last year, got cuffed around a bit. But Santos, former first-round pick of the Diamondbacks in 2002, once upon a time a shortstop, will be facing his former White Sox teammates. Made his major league debut in 2010 and saved a career-high 30 games for the White Sox in 2011. First pitch is a ball strike, 0-1 to Carlos Sanchez. Sanchez, switch hitting second baseman, has struck out twice today. So Frias's day is done. He went 2 innings. Santos, right-hander, set at the belt, delivers ground ball, first base, and it's fielded by Jansen at first, and that will retire Sanchez. 1 out, nobody on.
As a reminder, for every Dodger home run this year, good friends at Daniel's Jewelers and their family donates $1,000 to local children's charities, and over $500,000 have been raised over the last 4 seasons. Daniel's Jewelers, making diamond dreams come true since 1948.
Coye Dixon is the Dodger first baseman who made the play, and that's the first out of the 6th. And now Emilio Bonifacio, pitching 10th with the White Sox this year, takes a strike, and it's 0-1. White Sox with a run in the second, 3 in the third, and 2 in the 6th. Dodgers only run of the game for them, a ground ball to second base, and Darwin Barney, Gold Glove winning caliber second baseman, makes the play. Bonifacio's retired. There's 2 out.
Barney also realized that Bonifacio runs exceptionally well. Barney fielded it and did not take a couple of steps to throw it. He threw while he was still on the run, coming in, taking that slowly hit ground ball.
Well, there aren't many better defensive second basemen in the game than Darwin Barney. Gold Glove winner, and Melky Cabrera is this was his spot, but now it is Courtney Hawkins who is batting. Well, this is the time of spring training when There are a lot of fellas getting into the ball game that we've never seen before, and Mr. Hawkins is one of them. A swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. So the White Sox, coming off a disappointing year, 73-89, finishing 17 games behind the Tigers. Hawkins takes outside and low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. And as Mo mentioned, did a lot of work in the offseason, bringing in Melky Cabrera, LaRoche, David Robertson. In a very competitive American League Central Division. And Robin Ventura at the helm. Now the 1-2 on the way from Santos. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Sergio Santos comes in, pitches a perfect 6th inning after 5.5. White Sox 6 and the Dodgers 1. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, you can still guarantee your seat for opening day. Visit Dodger Stadium this Friday between 9 and 6 and purchase an opening day mini plan and even take your picture with the '81 World Series trophy. We'll also help you plan your next group outing to Dodger Stadium, so visit Dodgers.com/open house. Scott Schebler, 1 ball and no strikes. It's good at least watching him last year in spring and looking at what he did at the minor league level. Looks like it's a potential to be a pretty good hitter.
Pretty good base to begin with. And by base, I'm going back to the same thing referred to with Jock Peterson. It does have a pretty good balance. Left-handed batters stayed in the first couple of pitches pretty well against the left-hander.
At Double-A, 28 home runs. And he's got some thick legs from which he can generate the power that he has shown to this point.
Yeah, and to have that power and be able to generate it, you're driving really. You hit against a firm front side, but you have to have the balance in order to use it.
Schebler on 2-1 takes high and inside 3-1.
The other thing about Schebler, and I think we talked about it last year, he does not have a whole lot of extra movement with his hands. He's quick, so he can allow the ball to come to him.
3-1, swing and a miss, 3 balls and 2 strikes. A 26th round pick back in 2010. He's out of Cedar Rapids. Lives now near Solon, Ohio, or Solon, Iowa, near Davenport. Schebler fouls it off to the left. Brantley, the catcher, misplayed it. That will go into the scorebook as an oops.
It's also probably being written down by Mark Parent, the bench coach for the Chicago White Sox, and says, okay, if we're looking at things and Mark Parent, a former catcher himself. Pop-ups. I would imagine that will be on the list for tomorrow.
So Schebler gets a life on 3 and 2. He takes advantage. And a diving catch made out there by the White Sox. J.D. Shuck.
And Schebler saying, "Aw, shucks." That was a ball that just had a hang time. So Schebler got extra life on a ball that was not caught on the pop-up. And then he has an extra base hit robbed, taken away by Shuck. Excellent diving catch.
So that's the first out. And here's a Coye Dixon. Takes low and inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Dixon, early right-handed batter, drills one to left field and deep. It's way back and it's gone. A home run. A Coye Dixon.
He hit 17 last year in Chattanooga. He had 15 the season before in Rancho Cucamonga. And listed at 5'11", but as you mentioned, solidly built.
Out of San Francisco, 5'11", 220, a 12th round pick back in 2011. Coye Dixon at Chattanooga last year. 269 with 17 home runs and 73 runs batted in. And now Darwin Barney getting his first at-bat of the day. The 0-1 from Surkamp. Chopped over the middle, fielded behind the bag at second. Saladino will throw out Barney for the second out.
That home run, by the way, by Dixon. A trip around the diamond, sponsored by Daniels Jewelers. For every Dodger home run, Daniels Jewelers family donates to local children's charities, and over $500,000 have been donated over the last 4 seasons. Daniels Jewelers, making diamond dreams come true since 1948.
So Coye Dixon with the first Dodger home run of the spring. Here's Austin Barnes. First time we've seen him. Takes a strike on the inside corner, and it's 0-1. Came over from the Marlins in the Gordon and Herron deal. Played at A and AA ball last year. Checked his swing and fouls it back, and the count is 0-2. Hardest things these days in baseball is to find a good, young, solid catcher from which you can build. And the Dodgers are hoping that Barnes fills into that category. He's out of Riverside. Swings and fouls it off to the right. Lives in Corona. 5'10", 185. 9th round pick of the Marlins 3 years ago. Went to Riverside Poly. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His uncle, Mike Gallego, was a solid player in his day. Now the 1-2. Just inside, breaking ball 2-2.
Yeah, Gallego knew how to play the game. He knew the ins, he knew the outs. He was fundamentally sound.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A run in, bottom of the 6th. White Sox lead 6-2. Surkamp deals, and Barnes drills one foul up the left field line. Darnell Sweeney in the on-deck circle. Sweeney had a pretty good spring last year for the Dodgers, opening some eyes. Call strike 3. Barnes is down, and that ends the inning. But a Coye Dixon with a home run. Over the wall in left center field. Onto the berm, gives the Dodgers a run. As we head to the 7th inning, it is 6-2 White Sox. Well, Coye Dixon with his first home run in a Los Angeles Dodger uniform. He's out there. Outfield. Actually at first base now. New pitcher for the Dodgers is Adam Libator, who came over from the Devil Rays at AAA level last year. Very solid indeed. So the Dodgers, of course, have J.P. Howell, left side of the bullpen. And then you've got Paco Rodriguez. Libator is in the battle, hoping for a shot. And here he is making his Dodger debut. We're in the top of the 7th, and if you're not in the stadium, you can bring home the taste of the Dodgers' world-famous Chef Marino loaded nachos by driving to Ralph's and buying Chef Marino's carne asada seasoning. Call strike, 0-1. Andy Wilkins is now the batter. Came in to pinch run for Jose Abreu back in the 5th inning. So this is his first at bat. Left-handed hitter takes inside, and it's 1-1. You know, we were talking earlier. It's amazing. 19 of the 40-man roster new for the Dodgers, so it's a getting to know you portion of the season. You walk into that clubhouse, and it's a good thing they got names on the backs of their jerseys. 2 balls and a strike.
Mix up pitches. The pitch was received and thrown back to the mound by Barnes. However, his pitcher evidently had some perspiration, fell into his eyes, and he'd taken off his cap and exited the area the ball was thrown to on the mound.
Libator out of Bellflower now lives in Pennsylvania. Grounded foul at the first base line. Astonishing how many players born, raised, grew up in Bellflower. Jeff Kent immediately comes to mind. bunch of them. Libator came over from the Marlins, along with Joel Peralta. Jose Dominguez, the centerpiece in the Rays. And a call strike 3, and that's the first strikeout for Libator as a Dodger.
Libator out of Tennessee Tech. The Rays' 21st round pick, 2010.
Now Dan Black steps in.
You know, interesting about Libator too. He was not a pitcher until he went to Tennessee Tech. He was an outfielder.
And he delivers a ball under the knees. 1 ball, no strikes.
So you're an outfielder in high school. You go to Tennessee Tech. Somehow, some way, they converted him to a pitcher, and then he gets drafted.
Well, of course, Kenley Jansen was a catcher before becoming one of the elite closers in the game. And Chris Hatcher came over from the Marlins. He was a Hatcher the catcher. And so here's Libator. 1 ball and 1 strike. Grounded to second base. Room service hop for Barney. Black is retired, 2 out. And now J.D. Shuck is making his first appearance at the plate.
We've not seen any issues with the clock in between innings. Pace of game, if you will. We've not seen any issues or heard anything about, or witnessed for that matter, hitters stepping out of the box with both feet.
It's been a non-issue
to this point.
But you know, you were in your interview with Don Mattingly today, and we talked about it first few days of spring. Mattingly, for one, does not expect it to be much of an issue at all. And again, we talked about it years ago. We brought it up in the booth. Dwayne McDonald, our producer and director, is about 13 years old. So when we said, you know, once upon a time, well, he's a little older than that, but
well, he aged a lot last year, his first year with us.
When we said, you know, there was a time when seat belts became mandatory, or you couldn't smoke on an airplane. People went crazy. So you just adjust to the new surroundings. And I think this whole pace of play thing there'll be some bumps in the road along the way, but as Mattingly said, it's just the price of doing business, and it's not like there's people standing over the batter's box with a stopwatch. Just keep it moving. Call strike 3 to the left-handed hitting Shuck. A slider down and away. And Libator, 1-2-3 inning. 7th inning stretch. And it's 6-2 White Sox. White Sox, Tyler Danish. I could use one now, but I've got 10 seconds to get one for station identification on the Dodgers radio network. Charlie Son and Rick Monday from Camelback Ranch in Glendale. First exhibition game of the year. Danish, an A-ball last year. A starter, 25 starts, 83 record, and ERA of a shade over 2. And he becomes the 4th White Sox pitcher of the day. Other half of the 7th inning stretch, the White Sox 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And the Dodgers 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. Darnell Sweeney to lead it off for the Dodgers here in the bottom of the 7th. Left-handed hitter takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Go, Tyler!
Sweeney had a good solid spring for the Dodgers last year.
Extra base power, has speed to go with it. Also played very good defense here a year ago.
Well, he's in center field second half of this game, and we saw him last year primarily as an infielder. Fouls it back. 2 balls and a strike, beginning the bottom of the 7th. At Chattanooga last year, a solid .288, 14 home runs, 57 runs batted in. Switch hitter batting from the left side. The 1-2, breaking ball high and away. 2-2. Looks like he put on a little bit of weight since we saw him a year ago. Stands 6'1", 195. The 2-2, high and away, 3 balls and 2 strikes. 2 years ago, 13th round pick. Originally drafted by the Marlins in 2009. Opted not to sign with them, waited a couple of years, and became a Dodger. Takes outside, ball 4, leadoff walk off Tyler Danish as we begin the bottom of the 7th. Now here's an interesting story this spring. Alex Guerrero. Of course, you know what kind of a year he had last year. Up to and including missing a good portion of the season. Losing a piece of his ear. But at AAA, he hit about .329. Question is, can he field a position? Most folks agree he can hit. Takes a strike, actually foul tipped him on a check swing. No balls and a strike. He's got a clause in his contract where he can leave if he's sent down. And he said he has no desire to be sent down. Here's the 0-1. Here's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-handed hitter from Cuba.
He was, if I remember correctly, he started at second base last spring, the very first game.
Here comes the 1-1. There goes Sweeney. A swing and a foul back and out of play. The count is 1-2.
Yeah, I like that. The hit and run was on. Sweeney had a pretty good sized lead to begin with, trying to get Guerrero to put the ball into play. The other thing that I noticed, and going back to last year, is that I was a little surprised that Guerrero playing at second base, a couple of ground balls were hit to him. I said, former shortstop? Only because his foot speed was not what you would consider shortstop type foot speed.
Quick toss to first base. Sweeney back, a head first slide.
And he had a frustrating spring training because the swing got a little bit long. Now, I think his job during the offseason was figure out a way to shorten the swing, be a little bit quicker to the point of the ball.
On 1 and 2, swings and fouls it back.
Yeah. Now that was a 2-strike swing, but that was surrounding the ball, reaching out, going around it, instead of being shorter and quicker directly to the ball. And that's kind of what we saw last year at various times. When he puts the ball into play, he has enough power. You mentioned the home runs and the RBIs. He's fine on that end of it. But where we noticed problems was off-speed pitch and pitches away from him, including up and in that could go.
Inside and low. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Guerrero. So at the minor league level last year, He had 333 at Albuquerque, 329, Rancho 368, and there's a line drive base hit into left field. So most of the folks agree that he's a major league hitter, and a lot of folks seem to think maybe he's better suited to be in the American League. And here's a fella that the Dodgers and most folks around baseball think that he's going to be a big star. Corey Seager coming up. The Dodgers have first and second, and nobody out. Remember a couple of years ago when the Dodgers were playing up in Seattle, I was talking to one of their front office people about his older brother Kyle Seager, who has certainly established himself as a terrific player already. Signed a big contract a year ago. And the Dodgers had just drafted Corey Seager. And I asked him about his brother Kyle Seager. How's Kyle Seager? And the Seattle guy said, your Seager is better than our Seager. And so now we're all going to find out together. Don Cooper is the pitching coach for the White Sox. He's going to go out and talk with Tyler Danish. So Seager is one of those guys. One of what the Dodgers have said from the beginning, that they weren't going to trade Seager, Urias, or Peters. Just wasn't going to happen. And it didn't happen this spring. And you see, for those of you watching on television, for those of you on radio, please keep your eyes on the windshield. You got Seager and Peterson in the lineup today. Schebler and Sweeney are already in. Going to see Zach Lee pitch in the next day or two. So the Dodgers feel like slowly but surely they're beginning to rebuild and replenish their minor league system. And the fella at the plate now, the left-handed hitting Corey Seager, is first and foremost.
Yeah, 349, 20 home runs, 97 runs batted in. Left-handed batter. Immediately I noticed one thing about the way he holds the bat.
He takes a strike, 3-1.
You figure, guys, okay, good average, 349, very good, 20 home runs. He actually chokes up on the bat just about almost an inch to begin with.
The 3-1 is inside and low ball 4, and the Dodgers have the bases loaded.
And the other thing, Charlie, is that the first two pitches weren't even close, so it's 2-0 to count on Seager. But he is not a wild swinger. I figure it's not, in using comparative terms, not an Adam Dunn type of guy. But Dunn's just retired from the White Sox, but that was kind of a swing and miss. Either I'll thrill you or you wonder, again. But for Seager, for a young player to put the ball into play and understand, like, I've got better back control if I choke up an inch to begin. It's really something.
Now here's Kyle Jensen, his first at bat. And he takes the ball inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Danish having difficulty finding the plate. Jensen 260 at AAA for the Dodgers. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jensen from Walnut Creek. He came over in the big trade with the Marlins. Hard ground ball to second base. A tailor-made 6-4-3 double play. In to score is Sweeney. Dodgers get a run on the board. It's now 6-3. Well hit by Jensen, but right at the shortstop, Saladino.
Jensen also made some pretty good adjustments there. The first pitch that he swung at and missed was out away from him, and then he stayed right on this next one. It was really sharply hit, like a one-hop line drive to the shortstop. Perfectly placed was Saladino.
And so with 2 out, Kike Hernandez. And he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Well, we'll see how all these youngsters that the Dodgers acquired from the Marlins pan out over the course of their careers. And again, this is the first time we're seeing a lot of them. Jansen being one, Hernandez another, Barnes now the catcher. And a pop-up halfway between home and first. And the first baseman Black calls off Brantley, and that ends the inning. Dodgers come up with a run, leave 1, head to the 8th. White Sox 6, Dodgers 3. As we go to the top half of the 8th, MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is now available. Join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit MLB.TV for details. Josh Raven making his Dodger debut between AA and AAA last year, an ERA of about 3.5. Out of the bullpen, opposing hitters hit less than .250 against him. Struck out 25, walked 14. First time we're laying eyes on him, and he misses outside at a low 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, he came on with a lot of fanfare. He's out of Chatsworth High School. 5th round pick by the Cincinnati Reds. You talk about Chatsworth High School. How about their program? They went back-to-back national champions, 2003, 2004. Had a couple of pretty good teammates too.
Raven misses outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
1st round picks, Mike Moustakas for the Royals and Matt Dominguez with the Marlins. You had a Raven in there too.
Signed as a minor league free agent. Here's the 2-0 swing and miss. 2 balls and a strike.
So with Raven, he has been able to light up the radar gun at some point in his career. Scouting report that I got, between 92 and 99. You throw in the mid-90s, you get a lot of people's attention.
The 2-1, low and inside, 3-1. 6'4", 230, so he's a big fella.
And that last pitch, I was again watching on the television screen, the simulcast. You can see how much movement that he had. So he's in the 90s. Now the question is repeatability and throwing pitches to the corners of the edges of the strike zone.
Here's the 3-1. Fouled off to the right, now to play. It's 3-2.
Part with Raven is trying to stay healthy as well. He's been on the disabled list. You go back 2010 DL, 11 DL, 12 DL. Last year on the disabled list, so 2 different times last year. So trying to stay healthy.
On 3-2, fouled off to the right. Last year he had the oblique, and who doesn't, and right groin tightness. It cost him 2 weeks. Lives in Tarzana,
but has a tendency to overthrow the baseball. And there's no defense against walks.
25 strikeouts, 14 walks last year, 3-2. Fly ball, right field, and it should be an easy play. It is. 1 out and nobody on. Saladino flies to right. Kyle Jensen out in right field making the play. White Sox 6 runs and 9 hits, no errors. The Dodgers 3 runs, 6 hits and no errors. I suppose as we have a storyline through 7 innings. Jock Peterson, a couple of hits, a walk and a run scored. Sergio Santos, a perfect inning. Coye Dixon with a home run. And everybody is healthy, upright, and taking nourishment. And after the first spring training game of the year, that's all you can ask for.
Better than we were expecting, to be honest.
Well, next month, we're all off Broadway. 2-0 to Matt Davidson, right-handed hitting third baseman, and Raven misses outside. 3 balls and no strikes.
So many different players you're going to see in the first couple of weeks of spring training. I think for most of the veterans, earlier on, first couple of days, hey, let me have an at-bat, maybe 2-3 innings.
Swing and a miss, 3 balls and 1 strike to Matt Davidson.
But always wanted at least 2 at-bats. Otherwise, it's like Well, like sitting down at a steakhouse and you're being told you can't order anything. At least stay in the game long enough to break a sweat.
Raven on 3-1. Davidson, a fly ball center field, drifting toward right center. Is Sweeney to make the catch. Here's 2 out.
Charlie, the other thing a lot of people don't realize, oh, geez, how are you going to get in shape if you're just playing a couple of innings here, a couple of innings there? Well, folks, the day does not end. Because back beyond the left field fence and left center are the Dodger other fields and workout areas and string areas for the pitchers and batting cages for the hitters. And then there's the weight room and the training room. There's a lot of work that still goes on once the players come out of the game.
And first pitch swinging is Rob Brantley. An easy fly ball to left field. Shepler makes the catch, and that ends the inning. And let's not forget, these fellows arrived at work at 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe a little earlier to work. So the game is just a small part of the detail and day in spring training. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the White Sox lead the Dodgers 6-3. New pitcher for the White Sox as we head to the bottom of the 8th. And they've got a 6-3 lead. Zach Phillips now on relief. And I'm sure he's a fine man from a fine family. Don't you?
You're the one who's trying to find him on this sheet.
I'm drowning. Throw me something.
Okay.
Anything. I'm looking. I'm looking. I see nothing.
Just go with the attendance. You're about to announce it.
5,137, everybody.
Shepler's out of Sacramento.
Well, Shepler. We know Scott
no,
Shepler.
Phillips. Phillips is out of Sacramento.
Oh.
Rangers 23rd round pick, 2004.
I should have. Shepler leads off for the Dodgers in the bottom of the 8th. And Phillips at AAA last year had an ERA of under 2.5. And the 0-1 to the left-handed hitting Shepler. 1 ball, 1 strike. Shepler is a guy that the Dodgers are keeping an eye on. They think he's got a real chance. Not necessarily this year, but he's a young hitter. He's got some good pop. Takes outside in low 2-1.
He's also a go-getter. He's not a guy that just stands and watches the grass grow and say, well, you know, every other inning I'm going to get an at-bat. Yeah, He understands how to play this game.
2 balls and a strike. And he takes low and outside 3-1.
And yet Schebler was not a high draft pick. He was a 26th round pick, 2010.
Iowa born and bred.
Good athlete, though. Played 5 sports in high school.
The 3-1 ground ball, base hit into center field. So Schebler, who was robbed of a base hit in his first at bat, diving catch in right field by J.D. Schott. No doubt about it, a clean single in the second.
Yeah, and people may be saying, well, wait a minute, what do you mean he knows how to play the game? Well, all you have to do is watch Schebler when he got that base hit. It was up the middle. Now, it was not going to go in the gap for a double, but he was sprinting all the way down to first base. In case the ball was bobbled by the center fielder, he could have gone down to second base.
He's powerfully built, 6 foot, about 2 1/4. Short lead at first. And now Coye Dixon, right-handed hitter, steps in, and his last at-bat, his first home run as a Dodger in spring training or anywhere else for that matter. And he takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. Six to 3 White Sox. And we'll be back with you tomorrow. We'll be simulcast. And we'll be on the air on the radio at 11:30. First pitch at 12:05. And Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch his first 2 innings of the spring. 2-0 to Dixon, a 6-3 White Sox lead. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Dixon with a fly ball to center field. That should be an easy play for Trace Thompson, just into the game, and he makes the catch. First out. In case you're wondering about the pace of play, has there been any issue whatsoever today? The answer is
There have been no hitters that have been told to get back into the batter's box.
and when we come out of a commercial break, within about 10 seconds, the first pitch is thrown. So, as they say, a limited sample size, but so far so good. Now Darwin Barney is the hitter, and he takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Mattingly was telling us and telling you in the recorded interview today that he doesn't think the pace of play thing is going to be a very big deal. Here's the 0-1. I asked Donnie yesterday, well, what about now the replays? Well, you're not going to be able to run out there and wait and have a chat with the umpire with the arms crossed. Well, let's take a look-see, and a fly ball into left field. Barney will fly out as Courtney Hawkins makes the catch. You go, you stay in the dugout, listen to whoever's looking at the tape in the.
It won't happen. People are going to get run this year, I think, for the first time. They're saying they have to make the appeal from the dugout. You can't go on the field. No, you're going to go on the field because you disagree with the play. So I understand what baseball is doing, and I commend them in trying to take it. It's not going to work that way. It will not work. In essence, what they're going to say is, it's like in football. You have to stay on the sideline. If you're telling the manager that you have to stay in the dugout, somebody's going to get run.
Well, he can stay in the dugout, but then he can go out and complain. It was not one of those where he can go out and sit and chat with the first base umpire about a call and look in and wait and wait and wait and wait. So it'll be it's a mild alteration. But again, Donnie doesn't think it's going to be a big deal. And but we'll all.
No, I applaud baseball by saying, look, we're going to take it, and they take very, I think, very calculated. And I don't mean that from a negative standpoint, but very calculated approach on how they're going to handle an issue. And last year became a joke at times on how long managers took.
Oh, just brutal. Well, there was
It looks good to me, Zach. It looks good to me.
a hole in the wall, and they kind of.
Yeah. In essence, what they're saying is, look, if you guys can't figure it out on your own video system, on our time, we're going to tell you cannot appeal. So get it together.
And this, of course, is the first year under the helm of Rob Manfred.
Well,
he says,
who also mentioned something about eliminating the shift.
You know, it was just a matter of time. When I heard that, I said, call strike 3. Austin Barnes has been struck out. You know, talking with one of the high-profile player agents, who, of course, represents lots of home run hitters and stuff.
Otherwise, he would be a high-profile agent.
Ergo, yes.
Yes.
So what did Mr. Boris say?
We'll pick up the conversation we had with Scott Boras when we come back.
Good. Someone will have time to call him and say, hey, look, these two jamokes are going to talk about you.
We go to the ninth. White Sox 6-3. For the Dodgers as we go to the ninth. White Sox leading at 6-3. Young chap, a right-hander by the name of Blake Smith, who has not yet warranted a name on the back of his jersey. But number 91 does exist.
Yeah, out of
somewhere.
Usually. See, down to Modesto.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now you
They have a great team up there, the Modesto Nuts.
We go to the ninth. White Sox lead 6-3. And this afternoon's Chumash Casino Resort ninth inning jackpot contestant is John Shaw. Should the Dodgers come back and win, John wins a free stay-and-play getaway at Chumash Casino Resort located 2 hours north of L.A. in the Santa Barbara wine country. John will get a free night's stay plus $100 in free slot play. Enter to win. Go to am570radio.com. Micah Johnson leading off for the White Sox. He swings and misses, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. So meanwhile, we were talking about conversation with said high-profile player agent, our friend Scott Boras, who was siding with the theory that was put out by Rob Manfred, outlawing the show. And I think my reaction was yours as soon as we heard it. 3,000 miles apart. Essentially, what a bunch of hooey.
So what was the counterpoint?
The counterpoint was, well, people come to see runs scored and this and that. And so, come on. And so then I, defending baseball old school, used the football metaphor. You play to win the game.
Yeah.
And if you have a shift, hit the other way.
Exactly. Scott, we need to talk. Give me a call.
Oh, we'll hear from him before long.
You'll hear from me too in a minute. Here's the thing. Okay, we're gonna take that line, right? Okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna set up bike racks in the infield. You can only play between this position and this position. Or we're gonna use orange cones and say, okay, the shortstop has to be in here and in here. Which, quite frankly, some of the sabermetrics, when it talks about defense and what have you, it would be based only if you put orange cones out there because that's the only area, and it does not take into consideration where the infielder was to begin with before the pitch was made.
Johnson fouls it back.
You hit a nerve, and that's like saying, okay, what we're going to do is that we know this guy intentionally pulls the ball, so we're going to play him the other way. No, it doesn't work that way. So truly, and I'm not trying to be, facetious or anything else, but do we set up bike racks and say, okay, the first baseman can only play between this hash mark and this hash mark or this obstacle, and the second baseman is responsible for that area, and he can't go out of that area.
Oh, we are in absolute, total agreement.
And the center fielder can only, and in fact, let's not even mow the grass in left center and right center because the guy has to stand out there and this guy has to stand out there and he cannot move.
On 3-2, Micah Johnson takes high and away ball.
And the final point I'll make at least in this broadcast about this and this particular half inning, that's like some of the outfielders that we have noticed over the years. They are perfect contestants to have that same theory because they only play the area within about a 4-foot radius, whether it's a left-handed hitter or it's a right-handed hitter. Folks, if you're going to play the game, play where the highest percentage is to catch the ball. Otherwise, let's just play without gloves again in baseball.
Now the hitter is Kevin Smith.
Over the years, his soapbox got a little bit higher.
Oh. Well, yeah, it was one of those, and I think Manfred tried to reel it back in after the reaction he started to get, and he suddenly realized, hey, I'm not the second banana anymore. I am now the commissioner of baseball. If I say stuff, people listen.
That's like catching a huge fish. You're 30 miles offshore, and you catch this gigantic marlin. And when you finally reel it in, you say, oh no, we got to let it go. It's too big. Well, the chunk that Mr. Manfred took off as far as the defensive alignment may have been a little bit too big.
It was one of those where, ooh, I'm now the commissioner. People actually listen. They quote me when I say stuff.
And they remember.
Yeah. And that one in particular. But the end of the Bud Selig era.
Well, in case you can't tell, I'm just not a fan of limiting the defense.
No, you play to win the game. The ground ball back to the box. Over short, covering it second on the first double play. There's 2.
A little bit of a logjam at second base, and I'm not certain that Mike Smith knew exactly who was going to be on the cover because originally it was Barney coming over. So it's a breaking ball, low away. Got the ball fine. Didn't know who to lead because it was actually Hernandez who had the cover.
Hernandez got the throw, and Barney was about 4 or 5 feet behind him. Anyway, there's 2 out, nobody on. 6-3. Kiki Hernandez came over from the Marlins, and Dodgers are very high on his many abilities to play at every spot. And so again, in that context of the fly ball into right field, and mercifully that ends the inning, we put that story to bed. Fly ball for now. For now, we've got only 30 more exhibitions before it counts. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth, 6-3, White Sox. go to the bottom of the ninth, and Logan Kinsey been around the block a time or two. At AAA last year, 49 appearances, an ERA of 3.58. Opposing hitters hit 2.54 against him. So last licks for the Dodgers as we go to the bottom half of the ninth, and Darnell Sweeney will be leading it off. So the stories of the day, by and large, for the Dodgers: Coye Dixon hit a home run. Jock Peterson, a single, a double, a run scored, and a walk. And Sweeney with a line drive base hit into right field. We're talking about him in his last at-bat and how impressive he was at this level last year in spring. And he's done nothing on this day at any rate to take a step back.
Very fluid with his hands, really through the hitting zone. There was a difference. We talked a lot about the hitting aspect of it, and there's a misconception at times. We talk, well, bat speed. Bat speed does not translate into swinging hard. It's the quickness that you get the barrel of the bat through the zone.
Now here's Alex Guerrero. Takes inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah, the big hard swing is more of an arm swing. That quick swing, the quick hands, it's exactly that. Hands, getting the bat through the zone to get to the baseball.
Well, Sweeney played infield most of last year. He's playing center field this afternoon. So his is a name just put in the back of your in your memory bank, and it looks like he's got some tools. And Guerrero single to left in his first at bat. And he whacks a base hit into center field. So the Dodgers have first and second, nobody out. And Guerrero's 2 for 2.
Went to left, the first base hit. Guerrero did. That came in the 7th inning. His first at bat of the ball game. This time goes up the middle with a line drive.
And here's Jock Peterson, who's had a good day. In fact, forgive me, it's Corey Seager. And Seager, first pitch swinging, grounds it foul up the first base line, and it's 0-1.
Well, the 19 faces that are new in the 40-man roster, and we keep hearing about the younger players, and everybody's had really their eyes on Corey Seager because he has done so much at the lower level. But again, he chokes up, well, about 3/4 to a full inch on the bat. Still able to generate some power.
No balls and a strike. He takes high and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But you watch young players as well, just the way that Seager took that pitch. It was in off the plate, didn't make a big deal. All he had to do is slightly jackknife out of the way of it. What that tells me as a former hitter, he picks up the ball very early out of the pitcher's hand. That's what you're looking for. Where is the release point?
First and second, nobody out. 6-3 White Sox in the 9th, and Seager rounds up base hit into right field. Rounding third on his way home is Sweeney. Go back to second base. Guerrero narrowly avoids the tag, but an RBI single for Corey Seager. Sweeney scores. The Dodgers have a run into the bottom of the 9th. They've moved to within 2. It's the White Sox 6 and the Dodgers 4.
Seager looks like he got a breaking ball. Perfect placement to the right side of the infield. And Guerrero took a little bit of a gamble just rounding the bag at second base.
And now here's Kyle Jensen coming up. So the Dodgers with a run here in the bottom of the 9th. Jensen is in fact now the winning run at the plate. In his first at-bat, he bounced into a double play. That was in the 7th inning and produced a run. Right-handed hitter takes inside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
And yes, the White Sox do have action in their bullpen. Another left-hander getting loose.
Guerrero's at second and Seager is at first. 6-4 White Sox. Benson swings and misses, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, those are the pitches that really, as a hitter, you want to hit your head, the helmet with a bat, because you're ahead of the count 1-0. And then you swing at the pitcher's pitch that's down and out of the strike zone and bounces into the catcher's glove.
Started in his knee and ended in his foot. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a fly ball into right field. Retreating is Shuck. Tagging is Guerrero. He will go to third. Throw is cut off. Out is recorded. That's the first out of the ninth. Dodgers first and third with 1 out. And Kiki Hernandez is coming up. Hernandez has been up twice. He's struck out and he's fouled. Well, it hasn't been a bad day all in all for the Dodger youngsters. Schebler is on deck. Seager's got an RBI. Peterson, 2 hits, a run scored. Dixon, a home run. And Darnell Sweeney has a hit, a walk, and 2 runs scored. So the kids are all right today. Kensing on 0-1. This is low and inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Kiki Hernandez.
Let's go, Sox!
White Sox 6, Dodgers 4, first and third, 1 out in the 9th. Fouled off toward the Dodger dugout to the left, and the count is 1-2 to Kiki Hernandez. Kensing was in the Mariner organization last year, pitched at AAA, and made 49 appearances. Outside and low, and the count is now 2-2. Logan Kensing has made 135 big league appearances. Here's a 2-2. Swung on and just straight through. So Hernandez is done. And here's Scott Schebler coming up. Schebler, left-handed hitter. Tying runs are aboard. He's the winning run. Robbed of a hit in the 6th inning, single to center in the 8th. Guerrero leads from third. Seager from first. Ground ball to second base. Picked up by Johnson. Throws to first. Kensing covering. That will end the ball game. And the White Sox hang on and beat the Dodgers 6-4. So that's going to do it from Camelback Ranch. For our viewers on Sportsnet LA, we'll see you again tomorrow at high noon. The Dodgers take on the White Sox. Now for the rest of us here on the radio side, White Sox 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors. And the Dodgers 4 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. We're going to take a break, come back for the post game right here on the Dodgers Radio Network. Stay tuned for the McDonald Dodgers Clubhouse coming up next.